Hi there, hi MO8. I'm just going to show you, I've put together this screencast to show you how to create a fairly simple gap fill activity, DDL type activity, because I realised we went through it rather quickly in class. So I'm going to base it on one of the words that are in the text if you're doing question 3. Now let's first of all go to Sketch Engine. Because I'm on campus, I don't need to do any of that. I'm going to do it in bore. Obviously, you don't have to use bore, but bore is quite a good place. Now, the word I'm going to use is in the first sentence, spend. Now, you'd have a choice here. If you want to do spend, you could just do a normal concordance, which would get you, of course, all different forms of spend, or you could stick to the form which is used in the text. If you just put in spend, like here, then it will only get spend, it won't get spent, or spending, or spends, anything like that. So that's one option. Another option you might want to take at this stage is to avoid possible mistakes. If you see here, it shows first language of author. If we choose English, that does normally reduce the number of errors. So that's what I'm going to do. So what I get then is obviously still a large number of instances. In that they might not all be exactly the same use that we see in the text. So one way of fixing this or finding them is to look at collocations. Now, I'm interested in words which come after spend, more or less straight after. Let's do it like that. Actually, sorry, just 1 second. If we could put it on Word, it makes a difference between capital letters and lowercase. So, but Word lowercase ignores capital letters, basically. So this should get a better list. Okay. So, I don't know why chocolate is there, but the one which seems most like the one the example from that text is money. So what we could do then is just check. Yeah, these look quite good. So let's say we think that 8 instances is enough to show students how to use the word spend. I think it seems okay. I mean, you obviously in your assignment you might want to discuss this a little bit, whether 8 is enough or not. I'm saying for now it's enough. So what I do is save this. It'll come down here. It might come somewhere else, depending on what computer you're using. But basically, it will go into your downloads folder here. Now, at this stage, I recommend using a text editor like Notepad++. If you don't have it, it's free to download from the internet. It's very useful, and I'll show you how it is useful. No, I don't want to download that right now. Can we make it a bit bigger? We can. Okay, so you'll notice in spend, first of all, we don't really want these lines. They're not useful. Also, we don't want these arrows. What I want to do is replace them with a tab. So what I do is go find. I need to go to replace. You need to have it on extended. Here it's on extended. And this is the symbol we want, this \T, which means tab. So in fact, it's already, because I've done this sort of thing before. But what you would do, you'd type in this symbol and then \T. And notice what happens to these when I click replace all. It's like magic. Then I could do the same thing with this symbol, replace all. And what I've done is add a tab in here and a tab in here. This is very, very useful because then when we copy this all, so copy and paste it into Excel, here's Excel, the different words go into different columns. So like this, paste it in, and you'll see that they're all in different columns. Very nicely done. So we don't really need this column. We can delete it. This column I like to push to the right. It looks neater. This one I like to put in the middle. Align it in the middle. Then that's pretty much ready to go. What I can do from here is copy this and paste it into, we don't need that one, paste it into a Word document. Let's make that a little bit smaller, like this. You may find, if you do this, it depends how many words you have on either side. Just going back to Sketch Engine, you'll notice that the setting here on View Options is 40 characters. That's not very many characters. You might not find that's big enough for certain words. You might want to make it bigger. Let's say 60. And if I go, you'll see it's much wider now. Let's go back again. But yeah, if you have the wider one, when you paste this in, the table may not fit. You may need to edit it a bit, or you may need to change the layout from portrait to landscape so the table fits in. So if I do that, you'll notice that I can then stretch out the table. The other thing that's useful here is borders. What border do you want? So we could have inside horizontal is probably quite a good way. That separates the lines out. Also, if you wanted to create a gap fill, you could just delete those. There we are. Perhaps add in one of these to show that there's a missing word. It still doesn't look quite right, does it? Because let's do an outside border so I can see it. Outside border, there we are. We can stretch the table out a bit so that it's all on one line. That looks a lot neater. There we are. Okay, so that essentially is how you create a gap fill. Then obviously you'd write questions like, what's the missing word? How did you know what the missing word was? Or what word comes after money? And that will help students understand how spend works. So I hope this was helpful. Do let me know if you have any questions.